Hello everybody, today's topic is evolution of word stress in Old English, Middle English, and Early New English. What's the definition of stress? Stress syllables are most often defined as those syllables within an utterance that are longer, louder, and higher in pitch. Looking at this phenomenon from the speaker's point of view, stress involves a greater outlay of energy as the speaker expels air from the lung and articulates syllables. Also, from another point of view, from another listener, the most salient features of stress are probably longer vowel duration and the stressed syllable and higher pitch. First, we're going to talk about Old English word stress. Orthography. There are a number of letters used in Old English which were later discontinued. The main ones are F as a thorn and th, later replaced by TH, indicating the voiced and voiceless ambidental fricatives. Another example is A as an ash, a ligature. Two letters in one form composed of A and E and representing a sound intermediate between A and E. Phonology. The writing system of Old English is by and large phonological, which means every letter represents a phoneme. This applies above all to fricatives, though diphthongs. The affricate and the fricative used more than one letter. For example, five, consolation, house, etc. Allophony. Before back vowels G is found, E between back vowels and J before and between high vowels. There were two affricates, ts and ts. The first deriving from palatalization in early Old English, and the second inherited from pre-Old English. The fricatives F, S had two main allophones, a voiceless one at the beginning or end of a word, or in the environment of a voiceless segment and a voiced one were, when found intervocalically. This alternation can be seen to this day, and it's responsible for present-day alternations like wife, wives. The letter C represented the phoneme K when it occurred before a consonant, a back vowel or a front vowel which had arisen due to I umlaut. It is also represented the phoneme T, which arose due to the early palatalization of Vellers, church. Consonant length. Old English had both long vowels and long consonants. This was an inherited feature of Germanic and has only been maintained in the present-day Scandinavian languages. Examples of long consonants are kiss, set, since. Phonotactics. Clusters existed in Old English which are not permissible today. These were simplified in the Middle English period chiefly by the reduction of clusters of H or W and a following sonorant, love, right. The other major phonotactic change is the simplification of onsets consisting of a velar stop followed by an alveolar nasal. Now we're going to talk about word stress in Middle English and Early New English. The sound system of the English language has undergone profound changes in the 1,000 years which have elapsed since the Old English period. The changes affected the pronunciation of words, word accentuation, the systems of vowel and consonant phonemes. The sound changes are grouped into two main stages, Early Middle English changes and Early New English changes. Early Middle English changes show the transition from written Old English to Late Middle English, also known as the Age of Chaucer. The early New English changes show the transition from Middle English to later New English, the language of the 18th and 19th century. In late Middle English poetry, we find a variety of differently stressed words, though poetry permits certain fluctuation of word accent. This variety testifies to greater freedom in the position of word stress. New accentual patterns are found in Middle English from French. Maybe when they first entered the English language, they retained their original stress on the ultimate or penultimate syllable. But this kind of stress couldn't preserve for long. Gradually, as the loan words were assimilated, the word stress was moved closer to the beginning of the word in line with English, which is Germanic system. This shift is accounted for by what is known as recessive tendency. In dissyllabic words, the accent moved to the first syllable so that the resulting pattern conformed to the pattern of native words. For example, in Middle English, vertu became in New English virtue. In words of three or more syllables, the shift of the stress could be caused by the recessive tendency and also by the rhythmic tendency, which required a regular alternation of stressed and unstressed syllables. Under the rhythmic tendency, a secondary stress would arise at a distance of one syllable from the original stress. This new stress was either preserved as a secondary stress or else became the only or the principal stress of the word. For example, in Middle English, recommendant changed into recommend in New English. Sometimes the shifting of the word stress should be attributed not only to the phonetic tendencies but also to certain morphological factors. Thus, stress wasn't shifted to the prefixes of many verbs borrowed or built in late Middle English and in early New English, which accords with the Old English rule to keep verb prefixes unstressed. For example, in Middle English, accepten and genderen presenten. In New English, it changed into accept and gender and present. Corresponding nouns sometimes, though not always, receive the stress on the first syllable. In New English, present as a noun, present as a verb. The latter pairs of words show that the role of word accentuation has grown. Word stress performs a phonological function as it distinguishes a verb from a noun. This is it for today. Thank you for your attention.